Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lauren. I do random content on my channel whenever I can. And I basically right now am redoing a video I started on yesterday, which is Friday, because I don't know when I'm going to have this uploaded, hopefully by Monday. But anyway, so as you can tell by the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about toxic sides in different anime fandoms. With the three fandoms I'm going to be talking about is Haikyuu, Attack on Titan, and My Hero in that order. So this video originally was going to have me physically on camera talking about this, but when I filmed it on Friday, the runtime turned out to be 50 minutes long, and I did not want that, so I decided to just turn it all into me talking through mic, like I do with my iceberg videos, in order to hopefully make it shorter. So getting started with the video, here are some rules that are going to be happening in the video. So every fandom is going to have this structure where it's going to go from shipping to headcanons to controversies. The only one this will not apply to is Attack on Titan, because mainly the surrounding Attack on Titan was the hate on Mappa, the hate on Gabby, and the only one that will apply to it is the shipping, and that's it. I also do want to stress, these are all things that I personally have noticed, and a lot will be coming from TikTok, because that's where I've kind of noticed a lot of the toxic traits coming from. And second thing I want to point out, this is not the entirety of the fandom. I have met really nice people in all three of these fandoms, and not everybody in the fandom is like this. It is just certain people. So I do not want to be putting blame or hate on the entirety of the fandom. It is just only certain people. And the last thing I do want to mention is I will be bringing up people, particularly in the fandom, that have done some controversial things. And I do want to stress that this is not to slander nor to bash them in any way, shape, or form. This is just to talk about the certain controversial things that these people have done in the fandom. And please do not send these people hate whatsoever. It won't solve anything. And without further ado, let's get started with the video. So we're beginning off this list with Haikyuu. Now, Haikyuu, we're going to be starting off with the shipping. I personally do not see anything wrong with the shipping. However, it can become very, very toxic in the fandom. Now, I got into Haikyuu back in the summer of 2020, and that was actually what got me into anime TikTok. And I'm going to be honest, I never saw that much toxic shipping back then, but like as time progressed, it's like the shipping got very bad. Like, the shipping in the show is mainly boy x boy, which I have no problem with whatsoever. But, you know, it became very compared to when it comes to My Hero Academia. It got compared to it due to how toxic the fandom started getting when it came to shipping. Now, I personally see nothing wrong with the boy x boy ships. However, the one thing I do see wrong with any type of shipping is any type of pedophilic or incest ship. I will never agree with those. Those are disgusting to me. So, like, for example, in the Haikyuu fandom, there's been, like, the ship of Hinata and Coach Yukai, which is a pedophilic ship. That's nasty. You nasties, no. And then there's another one where this is an incest ship, where it's Osamu and Atsumu, who are twin brothers in the show, which, just nasty right there. Nasty.
Oh, you nasty.
And I think what made it worse was, and a lot of the fandom saw this, was that there were these two cosplayers on TikTok. I don't know what their account was named. I only saw the video multiple times due to many people like sharing it and saying like, what is this, what is this? And it basically was these two cosplayers portraying Atsumu and Osamu, and were basically sexualizing the two as a ship. And yeah, like I said, that's nasty. Why? Just why?
Why?
Now, going into the headcanons are basically supposed to represent what you think the character would be like if they were real. Like, that's kind of mainly known in a lot of fandoms. So, I personally have no problem with a lot of the headcanons that are positive. However, three particular characters I have noticed have gotten very toxic headcanons, and it's Tsukishima, Oikawa, and Suna. Now, Tsukishima is one of my favorite characters. A lot of people kind of know that. But a lot of the toxic headcanons would surround him being racist, a homophobe, and certain stuff like that. I personally do not agree with this headcanon, mainly for the fact that a lot of people do find Tsukishima as a comfort character, and for this headcanon to be going around, it's just kind of mean, especially since they kind of just took him being sarcastic and a bit rude to the extreme with this headcanon, which I, to the fullest extent, do not agree with. Now, the second one is Oikawa. Now, a headcanon with Oikawa that I had heard of was that basically he hates, or he will not date a Latina or Hispanic woman, which I don't get how that's a headcanon when, spoiler warning for the time skipped in Haikyuu, but he goes to Argentina, becomes part of their team, becomes a citizen, and learns Spanish. So I don't understand where the headcanon comes from when he literally goes to a Latin American country, learns Spanish, becomes a citizen there, and plays volleyball. So I just don't understand that one. Now, the last toxic headcanon I had heard about was having to do with Suna. Now, there was a headcanon going around in which basically Suna would be a smoker, right? Now, a lot of fans took that to the extreme and like made it into like kind of his whole personality, and that was a lot of having to do with every headcanon, was that the fandom kind of made it into their personality, in which we completely forget that the show is about volleyball, right? So anyway, surrounding this particular headcanon, I don't know personally if it's offensive or not, because throughout the Asian community, it's been thrown around if it's offensive or not. So I'll leave this to an Asian creator to speak on this. So if anyone is Asian watching this video, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, because I personally don't know if it's offensive or not, but I have heard people say it is offensive because the smoking headcanon and people who kind of associate Suna with it to the extreme kind of like also pointed towards his eyes or something like that. So, and I think overall with the headcanons was that the fandom kind of took the headcanons to basically make it the entire character basically personality. So I think that was too far in it, to the point where, like I said, you just forget that this entire show is about volleyball, you know? Now we're getting into the controversy territory, and like I said, whoever I do bring up in this particular portion of the video, please do not send them any hate. It's not going to help one bit, and I am just doing this for educational purposes, just to speak on certain controversies that have taken place in the fandom. Now, the first controversy that has taken place, to my knowledge, was a controversy with Chloe Takami. Now, Chloe Takami was a TikToker on the anime TikTok section, and basically, she was known, to my knowledge, in the My Hero Academia part of TikTok, but then fled to Haikyuu. I believe what happened with her in My Hero was that she basically caused a war between Fanon and Canon Hawks, in which Fanon Hawks is like the whole interpretation that Hawks would be like this flirtatious person, and Canon Hawks is basically how he acts in this show as like this goofy hero, right? So anyway, to my knowledge with this particular person was that in her TikTok, she would basically make these headcanon videos, and when it came to the character Atsumu, she would basically refer to him as a slur word that was used for Japanese people during imperialism Japan, in which basically she would say the R word, which I'll put right here, and then she'd add sumu. So a lot of people did call her out on it in previous videos, but she never paid attention to it until she was called out once again and apologized for it, saying that she had no idea about it. So when it was found out that she had previously known and people told her, basically all of anime TikTok kind of kicked her off the app, and I believe this was back in November or October. So a lot of creators went on TikTok and showed their stance about it, and I'm going to be showing you a video of a creator I follow on anime TikTok and what her stance was on it.
Hello. A lot of people have been asking me to talk about the Chloe Takami situation, and because I have a bigger platform, I would like to use it to talk about things that are important to me and give you my full stance. Firstly, I want to say this is not the first time this has happened. Chloe has said racially insensitive things to many different POC communities, and I've had it. The second is, if you follow me, I would like you to know the full severity of the situation and basically prove that Chloe knew what she was doing and she continued to make insensitive jokes. So I left 2 ats in my captions. Please go watch their videos. The third thing is you should understand the difference between someone that's truly apologizing and feels bad for what they do and someone that's playing victim. I hope you all stay educated, and please go watch those videos to understand everything. And yeah, that's my stance, and that's it.
Since then, to my knowledge, she has returned with a second account, but so far, I don't know if she's making content like that anymore or what's going on. The next controversy on this list is the Deciphered Controversy. Now, this one is going on right now, and it's surrounding a fanfic that this particular author wrote about Oikawa, and it basically was a street racer AU, and it was basically surrounding your average Haikyuu characters, like a normal stereotypical fanfic, right? Now, before I get into this one, I do want to preface, I will not be saying the author's name because this is happening right now and this controversy is still kind of going on. I will not be saying the author's name due to the fact that the author has been getting immense amount of hate and possible death threats. So if I see anybody name the author in the comments, I will delete it because I do not want the author getting any more hate than she already has right now. I will be speaking a lot about this one because I am part of the Hispanic community, and I do want to voice my opinion on this and what I personally thought about it. And third of all, this is not to bash the author, defame her, or anything like this. This is just to educate her and educate you guys on the situation that's going on with this fanfic and this controversy. So like I stated, Deciphered was basically this fanfic that was an Oikawa X-reader, and it featured a lot of other Haikyuu characters such as Kuro, Kenma, Suna, and many more surrounding this street racer AU. Now, the controversy happens with two things, and it all surrounds the Hispanic community. Now, the two things are the stereotypes of Hispanics and the sexualization of the Spanish language. Now, I will be talking about both, so hang on tight because this is going to be a bumpy ride. Now, the stereotype of Hispanics comes from a line in the fanfic where basically it says that when Oikawa went to Argentina, that's when his life got flipped around and he got into drugs. Now, this automatically perpetuates the stereotype that Hispanics are drug dealers, which is already a terrible stereotype that many have to face in society today. And I really don't mean to be the person who says fiction affects reality, but when it comes to stereotypes, a lot can affect the community that is being stereotyped, especially like, for example, in the Hispanic community, different stereotypes that were thrown around, like Hispanics are drug dealers and rapists and stuff, had led to actual consequences in the community, such as the El Paso shooting that happened at a Walmart in 2019 that targeted Hispanics. So it's certain stuff like that that kind of made the Hispanic community very off about the fanfic. Now, the other one was the sexualization of the Spanish language. Now, there was another problem with it having to do with the grammar, but since I do not know Spanish at all, so I don't speak the language, nor do I know it fluently or anything like that. I barely know the language. I won't be speaking on this one, but a lot of people did say that the language was very, it wasn't grammarly correct. I don't know really much about this one, but anyway, going back into this one, basically a lot of Hispanics had the problem with the sexualization of certain stuff in the fanfics, such as Papi, Mami, and Mi Pequeña Linda. So a lot of it, and I do see it because, like Papi and Mami, those are things that a lot of Hispanic kids call their parents and stuff like that. And there was also a use in the AO3 version of a title that said Spanish K-word, I'll put it right here, which a lot of Hispanics in the community did not feel very happy about it. Now, it is going back and forth throughout the Hispanic community if it was offensive. A lot of Hispanics do believe that it's offensive, and I will be showing you two creators who talked about this.
So, the Spanish and the overusage and the sexualization. We have multiple times told you about the pet names, Pequeña Linda, Mami, Papi. That is so uncomfortable. You over-sexualize Mi Pequeña Linda so much. Why? It's something my grandpa calls me. Mami, Papi. Don't sexualize that. This fanfic just shows the stereotypes of us Hispanics. We're horny, sexual, can't keep it in our pants half of the time. That's all this fanfic really does, is sexualize the Spanish language. And I've told you this, but you know what you do? You don't try to fix it, but what you do is that you go on Twitter. If you think mommy papi is not hot, fuck you, it is sexy. No, it's not. You are just simply giving a fantasy for readers that are not Hispanic, and just simply gonna give them a mindset that these words are really fucking sexy, and gonna be thinking that when talking to a person that speaks Spanish. You are just giving false stereotypes, which is not true. And it's really fucking annoying to be under these stereotypes. You are just really feeding into all of that.
So here is my personal take on the fanfic. I myself, along with a couple of my friends who also read the fanfic, found the fanfic to be offensive, which, of course, for the stereotyping and the sexualization of the language, that basically paints Hispanics in this bad light, that we're either drug dealers or we're very over-sexualized, you know? And that's already a problem in itself. Now, one thing I did not like was how people who possibly weren't even Hispanic were defending the author and stuff like that, where it was like, oh, people are too sensitive, people are too sensitive. It's not your place to accept or deny the apology. It is not your place. It is up to the Hispanic community in this case, you know? Now, I will give the author props, along with a couple of my friends also gave the author props to how she wrote. Like, she's a good writer, but if you're going to represent a community, do not do it in any type of stereotypical way, and this goes for any type of media. There is a good thing of representation. We love to see it, but do not stereotype whatever community you're trying to represent. Now, do I accept the apology she had wrote on Twitter? I will read it to you right now. I don't know. I personally don't know if I accept it or not, because many people did let the author know that certain stuff she wrote in the fanfic was offensive, but she had put out a couple of tweets basically saying that it wasn't offensive, certain stuff. She basically denied how the Hispanics were telling her that this was offensive and stuff. So that's personally one thing I didn't like. So I'm going to read you the apology right now and put it verbatim because of how long it was. I know I had promised I would never delete Deciphered, but I didn't think its existence meant to bring happiness and enjoyment into mine and so-and-so's life would cause me to absolutely despise it in the future. With regards to the sexualization of the Spanish language and the stereotypes manifested into the fanfic, it is within my duty to apologize to the Hispanic/Latinx community. While writing Deciphered, it was never my intention to sexualize the language nor reinforce the stereotypes already inflicted upon the Hispanic and Latinx people. I apologize immensely to the Hispanic/Latinx community that were negatively affected by it. I have addressed this concern multiple times in the past. This will probably be my 4th time addressing it, but I still felt like I had to address it again. I asked many of my dear friends of mine who are Hispanic/Latinx and are also Spanish speaking on their opinions if I should incorporate the language into the fanfic. I rely on them for accurate translations and always ask for their opinions on the incorporation of Spanish in certain areas of the fanfic. I also apologize for the excessive use of Spanish nicknames and long phrases within the story, especially in the 1st chapter. Using the gang activity/drug cartel/narcos association with Oikawa in Argentina was to connect it straight to the psychological aspect of his character that I want to focus on for the plot. I never intended for it to ever misrepresent the Hispanic/Latinx people, nor was I ever trying to depict Central Latin America as a horrible place. It was just used as a tribute to advance the plot for the fanfic. Now, like I said, it's up to the Hispanic community if they want to accept the apology, because that was the community she offended. Now, a lot of people had compared Deciphered to 7 Minutes, which was another fanfic having to do, however, with Attack on Titan. Now, this particular fanfic was basically, you have YN, and basically YN meets Eren Yeager at a party. They play 7 Minutes, and it leads into this romantic adventure. However, that fanfic was discontinued back in January due to the fact that people who were fans of the fanfic would send hate to different authors of different fanfics, basically saying how 7 Minutes was the best fanfic. The author since then had decided to delete the fanfic, and you can only find 1 chapter of it on AO3 to my knowledge. Now, the difference with Deciphered and 7 Minutes was, yes, both got deleted, but their reasonings were completely different. Deciphered got deleted because of the stereotypes and certain stuff like that with the Hispanic community, while 7 Minutes got deleted due to hate that fans of the fanfic were giving to other fanfic writers. Now, I think this concludes the entire portion of Haikyuu because I know for a fact it's already past 20 minutes while I'm editing this, and I know that this is going to take long, and I know the others are going to take long also. So I'm going to end it here, and now we're going to be going on to Attack on Titan. So Attack on Titan, I started this show back in November. I binge watched it, and I am currently also watching season 4. So one thing I do want to point out when I get into the controversies that have happened in the show, there will be spoilers for season 4. There will be no manga spoilers, just season 4. I will tell you a spoiler warning when it comes up. So now let's get started with the shipping. So the shipping, I personally don't see a problem with most of the ships. I rarely see a lot of it talked about, but like most ships that are there are like the Eren and Mikasa ship, the Eren and Historia ship, Ymir and Historia, Mikasa and Jean, so on and so forth. Now I think the two ships I have a problem with is the Levi and Eren ship and the Mikasa and Levi ship. Now, the Eren and Levi ship is self-explanatory. In the show, Eren is 15 from seasons 1 to 3, and I believe he starts to age, but he's still a minor in those seasons. Season 4, he's 19. Levi is in his late 30s, early 40s. That right there just screams a pedophilic ship, which, like I said before, nasty, don't support it. Now, with Mikasa and Levi, it's the same case because Mikasa and Eren are around the same age, and also it has to do somewhat with an incest ship because Mikasa and Levi are said to be very, very distant cousins. So, like I said, I don't support any type of incest or pedophilic ship, so right there, that was the problem I had with the shipping. However, I've seen in the show, though, it's not toxic when it comes to the shipping, so that's a good thing. But I guess that's it when it comes to the shipping. Now let's get on to the controversies. So when it came to the controversies, a lot of it took place with season 4 of Attack on Titan due to a new studio being in charge. Now, after the episode Declaration of War, which to my knowledge was possibly episode 5 or 6, MAPPA started getting hate due to people complaining about the animation and about the song choice when Eren's Titan attacks Marley the first time. So I never understood why everybody hated on it because MAPPA was the only studio that took Attack on Titan while any other studio wasn't going to take it, and not even Wit Studios were the original people who animated Attack on Titan. Now, I never understood why the hate was so great for it because they were doing an amazing job and they only had a small amount of time to animate all of this, and MAPPA is a very small studio. So I didn't get why they got so much hate for something that all of the fans were probably not going to get if they didn't take on the role. You get me? The Mikasa controversy. Now, after the episode Declaration of War, that's when the scouts made their appearance in the show. And a lot was said mainly towards Mikasa's character, in which many fans called her Mikasa because of how her character design looked. I never understood why the hate was so great on her character because after like 3 or 4 years of them training for this war between them and Marley, Mikasa is a 19-year-old soldier. She's not going to be your stereotypical anime waifu, you get me? So I never understood why the hate was so great on her, especially since she looked great. Like, a lot of people agree that she looked great. And this kind of made me question, especially when it came to the Girls Ruin Anime statement that many people have made. It made me question because the boys mainly were the ones who hated on her design. They were the ones who came up with the name Mikasa. So it just seemed very hypocritical to me that the boys are the ones who were mainly saying Girls Ruin Anime, but then proceed to hate on Mikasa's character design, because I did not see a lot of girls who watch anime hate on Mikasa's character design. But I guess that's it. I personally did not like how that was the name given to Mikasa's character just because of how she looked. Because when it comes to Attack on Titan, it's very realistic in how the characteristics of people look. With their faces, to their bodies, it's really realistic. So Mikasa's character design looks like how an actual girl would look like in real life. Anime versus manga fans. Now, this was mainly surrounding the hate with MAPPA, in which both sides were blaming each other for the hate. that MAPPA was receiving, with the manga fans blaming the anime watchers and the anime watchers blaming the manga fans. Now, to settle this once and for all, it's both sides' fault, and I can give you reasoning why. The anime watchers would basically, there are some anime watchers who watch Attack on Titan just to bash it, and you can have your opinion, but do not come at the animators and harass them. Now, the manga fans are no better. When it came to the episode Declaration of War and how people wanted that particular song, which was the Betrayal song that was used when Reiner and Birdie, I'm gonna say Birdie, basically revealed themselves to be the Armored and Colossal Titan, those fans wanted that song to be used when Eren first attacked Marley, where he comes out as his Titan form. Now, manga fans at this moment, you guys are not looking so hot because, for example, when the episode, spoiler warning, when the episode that Sasha dies in, many people were spoiled of it a week and a couple of days before the episode came out. So right now, manga fans are no better than the anime watchers. I can blame both at this point. I will blame both because both are just as bad when it came to hating on MAPPA. It's both sides of it. It's not everyone, just both sides of the fandom. The Gabby hate. Now, unlike with the MAPPA hate, that has actually died down. But with the Gabby hate, it has continued after the episode where, spoiler warning, Gabby kills Sasha. Now, I personally do not hate Gabby. I kind of don't agree with her character at times, but I don't hate her for what she did to Sasha. At first, when I found out before the episode released, I found out about 2 months before the episode released, I'm going to admit I was upset. I didn't like Gabby, but after watching the show, seeing the anime, and see how her character is, she's a brainwashed soldier. That's why I don't personally hate her character. There are a lot of people who do hate her character, and I don't know, like, it's gotten to the point, like, there's been, like, a lot of bad points it's gotten to, but one, especially on TikTok, was that somebody wished, trigger warning right now, somebody wished rape on her character. Please mind you, her character is 12 years old, and fictional or not, you should never, ever wish something like that on anybody at all. And what makes it even worse is that a couple of days ago, I had stumbled upon a TikTok talking about how there is a fan art image going around of Eren Yeager raping Gabby. And I don't know how to process that. That is disgusting, and I don't know what's going on with some people's minds. Like, you can hate the character, you can dislike the character, but don't go to that extent. You get me? And another thing, there was a song going around. I'm about to play it for you right now. Now, I can't help but laugh at the song, but, like, the hate has grown very immensely for her. Like, just for an example, I posted a video on my TikTok that has gotten a good amount of views, and a lot of the comments were basically saying how Gabby should have been killed, stuff like that from the recent episode that came out today. So, I guess that concludes the entirety of Attack on Titan. So, without further ado, let's get on to My Hero Academia. So, My Hero Academia. Now, I am currently watching the show right now, and as most of you guys are aware, it has kind of been dubbed one of the worst fandoms to join. Now, I do want to stress, just like with the rest of these fandoms I talked about, it's not everybody in the fandom. I have met some really nice people in the fandom, and it's only certain people who act like that, and you really shouldn't let the fandom ruin the show for you. You get me? So, the shipping. Now, My Hero Academia is known for having one of the worst fan bases when it comes to the shipping. Now, most of the shipping are boy x boy, which is kind of like the pairing in Haikyuu. However, when it comes to people not agreeing on the ship, I have heard of cases where there has been doxing, which that completely is unacceptable. Now, a lot of the ships go basically like this. It's like the Bakugo and Deku ship, the Bakugo and Kirishima ship, the Todoroki and Deku ship, and so on and so forth. And I personally have no problem with those ships. Just don't force your ship onto anybody, you get me? Now, I do have a friend who does ship the Todoroki and Deku ship, which I'm completely fine with. Like I said, you know, it's his opinion. He has the right to his own ship, and he doesn't force it on us, so that's a good thing. But like I said with the Haikyuu ship, there are some ships that are pedophilic and incesty, which I personally don't agree with. For sure, it's nasty. No, it's disgusting. And like, for example, there's a ship between Aizawa and Eri, which is a pedophilic ship, and I don't even know why that's a thing. And then another incest ship is the Todoroki and Dabi ship, which, like I said with the other ship, why is that a thing? And it doesn't help that there were these two cosplayers, not the same cosplayers who did the Haikyuu one, but there were these two cosplayers that went around Instagram that basically did pedophilic / incest ship of Todoroki and Dabi in cosplay, which is just, I don't know. I really don't know what to say anymore when it comes to this. Now, getting with the headcanons, just like with Haikyuu, the headcanons have basically kind of taken over, in which people make it into a completely different thing from their canon and fanon, which I will get into later on in this video. So, I think the one toxic headcanon I've heard of with My Hero was the headcanon surrounding Zero. Now, his character is mainly associated basically with a lot of people putting him in the Hispanic community, which, you know, I have no problem with. But when people make jokes that, like, he'll run to jump the border wall, stuff like that, it's, you know, that's not funny whatsoever. It's just a stereotype. It's not funny, you know? So I think that's it for the headcanons. Now I'm going to get into the controversies, where I will bring up the canon versus fanon. So, canon versus fanon. Now, like I stated earlier in the video, canon versus fanon is basically how the character actually is in the show, which is its canon self, and fanon is what the fan interpretation of the character is. Now, many characters in My Hero Academia got a lot of canon versus fanon, which canon, for example, Bakugo is known for being, like, very rough, while fanon version kind of took him as, like, he'd give you cuddles, stuff like that. I don't know. Now, the character that has gotten the worst amount of canon versus fanon has to be Hawks. Now, basically, his character is completely different in the fanon version than in the canon. In the canon, he's seen as, like, this goofy hero, stuff like that, while in the fanon, he's seen as this flirtatious person. Now, a lot of people have wondered kind of who caused the whole war with this, and I did mention that Chloe Takami had some partial responsibility for it. However, one person has probably caused the most damage with that, and that person is Yagamiyato. Now, she is an ASMRist that is well known in the anime community, and a lot of you may have heard of her. She basically got her start for kind of replicating the voices of different anime characters, with her most popular being My Hero Academia. Now, she has also done Haikyuu, and I would have put this with the Haikyuu side, but I chose against it due to how long Haikyuu already was, and because she is more well known in My Hero Academia than in Haikyuu. Now, she basically replicates different voices such as Deku, Bakugo, Kirishima, Todoroki, so on and so forth, and she has been under controversy for looting minors due to these audios. Now, one big controversy that has surrounded her recently, a couple of months ago, was the controversy that she groomed a minor. Now, a lot of screenshots were posted on Twitter from a particular person calling her out that when this person was 17, she had wanted to get into the Patreon tier that Yagamiyato has, in which she posts her more NSFW or not safe for work content. So according to this person on Twitter, Yagamiyato sent them personalized audios, personalized 18+ audios, and basically TikTok was divided. Anime TikTok was very divided when it came to this, with many people either attacking her or defending her. Now, what made it very suspicious was that when these allegations came out, Yagamiyato didn't really defend herself in some way. And what I mean by that is, when these allegations came out, she had deleted her community side on YouTube, took down every 18+ audio on her YouTube, deleted her Twitter, and deleted her Instagram. Now, a lot of people wondered, if you claim that you aren't guilty, why would you delete these stuff? You would try to clear your name, you know? It just seemed very suspicious to many people, and a lot of people, including myself, were standing by the victim instead of possibly supporting Yagamiyato, and a lot of people stopped supporting her after this, with her losing about 200,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. Now, around the same time of this controversy, there was a smaller controversy going around that made a lot of fans upset, and it was that Yagamiyato had posted on her community tab that she was possibly going to be getting a role in My Hero Academia Season 5 in the dub version as a minor character. Now, it upset a lot of fans because, as a lot of fans know, the voice actors, the English voice actors, are not big fans of her. They don't like her because she's impersonated their voices to sexualize these characters, you know? And two voice actors that I'm aware of that particularly don't like her are Denki's voice actor and Hawks' voice actor. Now, it was then confirmed sometime later by Funimation themselves that they had no association with this person, and to a lot of fans it wasn't surprising because when you apply for a job, people are going to look at your social medias and stuff like that, so a lot of fans were not surprised that it was all a lie, basically. So that's kind of what upset a lot of My Hero Academia fans when it came to this, and I think this concludes the entire portion of My Hero Academia, so I'm now going to end the video with my final thoughts, and yeah. Now, to end this video off, I think personally this was the better option for me to redo the entire video just with me speaking on mic instead of physically on camera, because comparing it now to what my original draft was, it was, like I said, 50 minutes by the time I finished just clipping off the endings and stuff, and this one is already at like 33 minutes, so I think this was perfect timing in my opinion. Now, like I stated earlier, with everybody I mentioned, please not send them any hate. I keep saying this in my video because, you know, I want to preface that this was not my intention to send anybody hate or to slander or to do anything like that to anybody I mentioned. Like I said before, this is to educate and stuff like that. And this is also to educate you guys on certain stuff that has happened in these three fandoms I talked about. And hopefully we can learn from this stuff, and like I said previously also, do not let the fandom ruin the anime for you. All three of these shows are very good, and the fandom may have some problems. Not everybody, but some people. They may have some problems, but you know, the show is still good. Don't let them stop you from watching the show. And I guess without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Comment down below what else you want me to talk about on this channel. I may do another video like this if you guys give me some other shows, and I'll probably do another video like this. And from the point where I upload this video to sometime hopefully in spring break, I will be working on the Death Note Iceberg video. I have already gotten started on it as we speak, so hopefully sometime during spring break it'll be uploaded. And yeah, have a great day or night depending on where you live, and I'll see you guys next time on my channel. Bye guys!